Hi, this is going to be a continuation of showing my vinyl collection in alphabetical order. We left off with the A's. I'm going to start off with part one of the B's. This is Best of BTO, which is Bachman Turner Overdrive. This is Bad Company's first album. This is a best of from Bad Company. It's called 10 from 6. This is the band's first album, Music from Big Pink, a repressing. I believe it was from the 2000s sometime. This is not a repress. This is a first pressing, the band's second album, self-titled. Beach Boys, Surfin' Safari in mono. And this is a 70s repress of Surfin' Safari. My mono copy of Surfin' USA. Stereo copy. Surfin' USA, I'm sorry, Surfer Girl. This is I believe it's a 1970s repressing. This is Little Deuce Coupe, mono. Shutdown Volume 2 mono copy. Shutdown Volume 2 stereo. And fun, this album is actually Shutdown Volume 2, but it was pressed in the late 70s. It's essentially the Shutdown Volume 2 album with a couple of songs that were excised from the track listing. This is Concert. One of my favorite Beach Boys albums, All Summer Long. And I've got two stereo copies of All Summer Long. I bought this one because I guess I thought that I had a stereo copy already. I'm sorry, these are both mono copies, actually. I bought this thinking that I already had a stereo copy, when in essence I was just buying a second mono copy, but that's all right. I don't mind having two. This is a repressing of the Beach Boys Christmas album, I believe from the 70s. One of my favorite Beach Boy albums of all time, Beach Boys Today, the mono copy. And my stereo copy. One of my favorite all-time Beach Boys songs is She Knows Me Too Well. This also has When I Grew Up to Be a Man, which is also a great track. The second side of this really points the way to Pet Sounds. Any of these songs really would have fit well on the Pet Sounds album, but that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. And then again, this is the Today album. Changed the title, and they took a couple of tracks off the original album, and the back cover looks a little bit different, but it is in duophonic stereo. This is a 180 gram stereo copy of Summer Days and Summer Nights. And this is an album in the 1970s. Capitol released the Beach Boys catalog. Again, it had been out of print from some time, but they released it in the altered versions like the ones that I showed you, Fun, Dance, Dance, Dance. And so the leftover tracks, the ones that did not appear on the original albums that they had sliced off, they put on this album. It's called Be True to Your School. The sound on here is actually phenomenal. You wouldn't think because it's on the budget Capitol label, but it's really a fantastic sounding album. This is Beach Boys Party. 180 gram mono version of Pet Sounds. 180 gram stereo release of Pet Sounds for the 50th anniversary. Best of the Beach Boys Volume 1, which they released when they started to get concerned that Pet Sound sales were not going to really get as high as they had hoped. This is a 180 gram version. This was the double album release of The Smile, Beach Boys Smile tapes for the first time. The first album is the album in the order that Brian Wilson had allegedly originally intended. It follows the order of the Smile album that he released as a solo album. And then there's an album of outtakes. I had this album also as part of the Smile Deluxe box set, but this was the first copy that I ever had of it. And the Beach Boys Smiley Smile, Wild Honey, Beach Boys Best of Volume 2. Got 2 copies of Friends, both stereo copies. One is in a little better shape than the other. And the Best of the Beach Boys Volume 3. (2020). This is called the Best of the Beach Boys, which is kind of a misnomer because really it's the first tracks that the Beach Boys has recorded. They're almost like demo takes or something, but I've seen this album packaged so many different times. I know there's a story behind it. These are the first early recordings that the Beach Boys ever did. So to call it the Best of the Beach Boys is really misleading. Sunflower, another fantastic album. As is Surf's Up. This is the Live in London album, which I think was recorded in 1969. This is the Holland album. Unfortunately, I do not have the Mount Vernon and Fairway EP that was originally part of that release. This is Good Vibrations, the Best of the Beach Boys, which covers mostly the Brother Records years. Beach Boys' second album, this time it's a double. And if anybody who's just a casual Beach Boys fan has a Beach Boys album, more than likely it is going to be this one. This has all the best of their early 60s, 1963 through 1965 are the years covered by Endless Summer. This is another 2-disc, 2-album greatest hits, second in a series. This is essentially the Live in London album, but it was, I believe the Live in London was released in England, and then this was released in the US. Beach Boys Love You. And the third in Capitol's series of double albums. This was kind of the last of the best of the Beach Boys, scraping the bottom of the greatest hits barrel a little bit with that one. In fact, there's a medley of Beach Boys hits just to sort of pad it out, I guess, because they were running out of what you could consider classic Beach Boys material. The much maligned LA Light album. The much maligned self-titled Beach Boys album. And that does it for Beach Boys collection. Next album I'm going to show is, this was released in, I believe it was 1985 or 86. It's by a band called The Bears. It was Adrian Belew put this band together from the ashes of a band called The Raisins, which I believe were from Ohio. But this is a fantastic power pop album. A lot of really great material on here. Now we're getting into my Beatles collection. This is Please Please Me. I'm not sure where this pressing is from. And I'm just going to take a minute and get myself organized a little bit better here, because when you're dealing with this many albums, space starts to become a little bit of an issue. So anyway, okay, sorry. Where was I? With the Beatles, introducing the Beatles. This is the actual, it was an authentic original pressing, whereas this is a counterfeit. And how can you tell? One of the ways you can tell is George does not have a shadow here, whereas here he's kind of got a shadow down there at the bottom. Also, the H in A Taste of Honey, you'd have to look really close at it, but the H in A Taste of Honey has a little bit of a gouge out of it. Just real interesting differences. And also you can tell by the label, if the Beatles is above the spindle hole on the label, it is authentic, but if it's below the spindle hole, then you've got a counterfeit like this one. It's in good shape though. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but I'm glad I actually found an authentic copy in the wild to fill out my collection. This is the Beatles with the Beatles. And this is a limited edition. It's still sealed. I think this came out in the 90s. Again, I'm just trying to organize here while I'm doing my video. Meet the Beatles, my mono pressing. Meet the Beatles, one of my stereo pressings on the Rainbow label. Meet the Beatles, another stereo copy that I have. Yet another stereo copy of Meet the Beatles. I think that one's on the purple label. Beatles' second album, my mono copy. Beatles' second album, one of my stereo copies, which still has a shrink on it. Somebody tore off the price sticker, was not me. Another stereo copy of Beatles' second album. Yet another stereo copy. This is the Canadian version. This is the third album that was released in Canada by the Beatles. Hard Day's Night, another one of the limited editions. I still got this one sealed. It was released in the 90s. Got the Apple label there. This is, I think, a German version of A Hard Day's Night. Mono copy of the United Artists American soundtrack album. This is the stereo version. And this was a 1980s purple capital label version of the soundtrack. This is my stereo copy. It's a promotional copy of The Beatles Story. And this is my mono copy of Beatles Story. Here are the Beatles Tell All, which was a VJ album. Something New, my mono copy. Stereo copy. This is on the Apple label. This is a purple label stereo copy. Beatles for Sale. I'm not sure. This is on the Parlophone label. It's not the 180 gram version, but this one is. Beatles 65, my mono copy. Stereo, one of my stereo copies. Another stereo copy. I think this one's on the Apple label or the lime green. I don't know. I haven't checked in a while. This is another copy. This is on the purple capital. Early Beatles mono. Early Beatles stereo, both on the Rainbow capital label. And then I've got a lot of these. These were pressed on the, what do you call it, purple capital label from the late 70s, early 80s. Mono Beatles 6. Stereo Beatles 6. Another stereo copy of Beatles 6. This one's on the, this is the original Rainbow label. The other one I just showed you is on the orange capital label. Again, not sure what this date's from. This is UK import of Help. stereo copy on the Apple label of the Help soundtrack. Nope, I'm sorry. This was the mono. This was on the rainbow label. This is my Apple label stereo version of Help. Rubber Soul. This is a mono copy. It's still in the shrink. Stereo original copy on the rainbow label. Not in the shrink, but in really good condition. And then I've got the purple label, late 1970s, early 1980s. And then another one of the limited edition. This one, again, is still sealed, and it was pressed in the 90s. Yesterday and Today, mono copy. Stereo copy. Purple label copy. No, it's not really. It's not an authentic Butcher. This is actually on silver vinyl, but it looks pretty authentic, but it is not. But it's cool to have, counterfeit. It may be the only one I ever own in my lifetime. This is a mono version of Revolver, still in the shrink, still with the original price sticker on it. This is my stereo copy, which also is in the shrink with the price sticker. This is on the orange capital label. A British import of Oldies But Goldies, which was a UK only release. And then Sgt. Pepper mono. One of my stereo copies. This was on the rainbow label. This copy is on the Apple label. This is on the lime green capital label. This is on the purple capital label. And this is the 50th anniversary Giles Martin 2-disc, 2-album set. Magical Mystery Tour on the rainbow capital label. My white albums, this is on the Apple label. I believe it's an original pressing. This is a orange capital label pressing. I don't know why I'm showing you the back cover of that like it's going to be anything but white. Ridiculous. And then this was a 90s version. It's got the embossed title on here, but it has Apple label on the back there. This is my box set from the 50th anniversary White Album, the 4 album, original album, and then the Escher demos. This is my Yellow Submarine. That's on the Apple label, and then I've got a purple capital label for that one. Abbey Road on the Apple label, and then I've got a purple capital label on that one. And one of my copies of Hey Jude, this says the Beatles Again on the label. So I'm going to stop this first video there. I'll get into the rest of my Beatle albums in part 2 of my B series. Try to finish out the rest of my B's, but it's still, I've got so many B's. It might be the letter I have the most of, so this might be a 3-episode kind of deal. But appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to get myself reorganized and then start filming the rest of the B's. Take care.